good evening, and welcome to this week's edition of Cop Talk. The title says it all, 2 more wins to go. But before we get into that, how are you this evening, sir, Dr. Blake?
I'm well, man. I'm well. Yeah, the title is nearly there, man. It's nearly there. It's a time to, yeah, man. It's a time to be alive, man. Time to be alive. Like I keep saying, we don't regularly get to see our team winning Premier League titles, so yeah, it's a real time to savor, man.
Ah, lovely. Good evening to Brees. How are you, sir?
Good evening, guys. I'm well. Another
Lovely, jubbly. Well, on this week's edition, we'll be covering a few topics. So we will focus at some stage on the title, which is 2 more wins to go. Liverpool are currently on the brink of securing our 20th league title. So we'll have a chance to speak about what this 13-point lead and only 6 matches remaining means for us, and how Slot's management style has contributed to this dominant performance in his debut season. We're going to focus briefly on Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk signing the new contracts. We'll have an opportunity to review the West Ham game, look ahead to the Leicester City game. And I think we're going to touch on just a little bit briefly about what's underneath my title here, about this Chat GPT toy figure. But we'll get into that near the end of the show. Good evening, Uncle Teach. Welcome to the show here. Also to Mark Foster and also to Chris Welch as well. Thank you very much for joining us so early. So let's crack on and get into this. Gentlemen, let's try and set the scene. Liverpool are currently 2 wins away from glory. How are you feeling right now as a Liverpool fan, knowing we're potentially 2 games away from history?
Breeze, go on, man. Go on, bro. All yours.
I'm gonna literally make this sweet because literally I love how Doctor articulates like the whole emotion. But for me, the title was done in probably late February, early March. So that kind of anticipates, that kind of anticipation and the kind of butterfly feeling, it kind of disappeared around that time. So again, it was just a formality now, and then we have to, first and foremost, I think we have to thank Klopp for literally giving Slot just an amazing squad to actually work with, and like knowing that we will like secure it without any like pressure from any other team. It's just honestly like it feels surreal. I would say in all of my years supporting Liverpool, this has literally been like the most easiest running ever. And yeah, I'm just really relaxed. Yeah, Doctor, please like take.
Yeah, no, listen, bro. I think you've surmised it perfectly. It's almost like it almost feels like when you've battered a team, but during the game you felt crazy stressed, and then you go and watch Match of the Day at night, and you see that and you watch it again, and you've won 4-0, and you're like, what have they been worrying for? And it's just been remarkably so straightforward this season in a way that it just shouldn't have been, right? No one was predicting this. Well, we certainly weren't. Klopp goals, how are we going to cut that? Colt post Klopp, new management team, issues like regarding the actual contracts. Arsenal are they're on the verge of winning the league. City don't really drop off. Where are we gonna be? Man, you were talking big. New Chelsea spent $1.5 billion. That must come good. There's all these factors, and it's just been so straightforward. And I feel almost it's been so straightforward to the point where we've almost become complacent in this. And I'm just like fans, like, let's enjoy this moment, man. Like, this is brilliant. Like, not only have we this title in different ways is nearly as important as Klopp's first title, because we're now seeing a system that says that actually, no, we can be successful independent of this amazing manager that we've had. So we're not going to fall off like Arsenal or Man U. Like, Klopp was incredible. Obviously, like, we give him homage, but at the same time, it's like, no, like, our club is back, and I just feel like we should just enjoy it, man. So, and I'm saying that to myself. If Jota miscontrols the ball, or Ryan doesn't close someone down, or Robbo gets skinned, I'm just going to be at peace with it. Actually, no. If Robbo gets skinned, I'm going to cuss him. But the rest of it, I'm going to try and be at peace with it. I just feel, yeah, like it's a great time to be a fan, man. Great time to be a fan.
100%. So while Pridge is just settling in his camera view, this is based on everybody that's tuned in and currently in our comments, okay? If you had to describe this title in one word, what would it be and why? Okay, so this is not for the panel. This question is currently mentioned to everybody in the chat, all right? So just put your comments in the chat. If you had to describe this title in one word, what would it be and why? Okay, and I'll read those out when we have an opportunity. Good evening, Fred. You climbing up the side of a tower there, brother. You Spider-Man.
You orientate your thing, bruv.
Can you hear me?
There you go.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Loud and clear. Sorry, I'm going to have to disappear for one moment. I'll be right back.
No problem at all. So while Prince has gone away, question to you first then, Doctor. Which players have been the backbone of this title push?
So
you can only name three, actually. Let me filter it down. Which three players have been the backbone of this title push?
So the first two are obvious, Van Dijk and Mo, for obvious reasons. They're gonna sound biased. I'm gonna say Diaz. You know,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I feel, because I think, don't get me wrong, Salah's hit a level that I didn't think he still had it in him. Virgil's maintained, but I feel like Diaz has, at different parts of the season, like become a key player at times where probably not all fans expected him to actually do it. So in terms of, like player of the season, them like the one who kind of pushes on more than what you would have expected. I'd say those three for me.
Okay. So teachers is started. So the question that I asked briefly to anybody in the comments was, why? So I've seen easy, I've seen no challenge, I've seen paradise, I've seen unreal, and I've seen a few more unsavory stuff. Doctor,
Stoney, your
someone just mentioned. Am I okay now?
Yeah.
You're all right now.
Chris Welch was saying for your three players, he was saying, don't you dare mention Diaz. Bit too late there, Chris. I think he's actually done it, unfortunately. So to Brees, which three players for you have been the backbone of this title push?
I think Van Dijk and Salah, again, exactly what Doctor said. I've got to echo that. And I've got to say Gravenberch, because again, under kind of Klopp, he was injury prone. We didn't really know. Well, Klopp didn't really know how to use him. Was he a number 8? Was he a number 6? He was kind of coming on and wasn't really kind of pulling up trees. And especially at the start of this season, we looked at, we put in a bid for Zubimendi, and he rejected us. And literally everyone's saying that the number 6 is going to be like Liverpool's downfall, and literally that was going to be the problem. And playing him there was a kind of surprise to like everyone. But just kind of how he's just kept everything ticking, and he's remained fit, which was for me like the most surprising aspect of the whole season. And again, we have seen glimpses, because literally, yeah, glimpses exactly what what he can do and the kind of type of player he can actually become in a Liverpool shirt. So yeah, I'd say Salah, Gravenberch, and Van Dijk.
Oh, wonderful.
Can I just quickly?
Go ahead.
Can I just say very, very quickly that is the perfect answer. Like it has to be Gravenberch. It has to be Gravenberch. That was Diaz, yes, everyone knows I like Diaz, but it has to be Gravenberch. Has to be, simply because that position is the only position that we try to sign or try to spend a lot of money on. In was it got £60 million or whatever it was going to be. So the fact that we've gone to spend a big amount of money for our team doesn't work out, and then this kid just becomes like elite. Don't get me wrong, he's dropped off a little bit, but in terms of like setting the standard and really pushing the team forward, Gravenberch, sorry, Diaz, apologies, Gravenberch's player for me has to be all right. Manager's player certainly.
And you're right in saying it as well, because I think I'm not saying that this player. Well, you know what? I'm not going to say anything actually, because I think before the transition with Ryan, you were mentioning as well, we were looking at midfielders, and Zubimendi probably would have been one of the latter ones. But prior to that, we were looking at Lavia. We were looking at what was a midfielder that's currently at Chelsea, Caicedo. Prior to that, who else were we looking at? Well, I know Jude wasn't in the equation, but remember we were saying it would be interesting whether we could have had Jude. And if you think of all of those players, that would have cost us all equally astronomical amount of money. And yet we had somebody in-house who's been able to make the transition and been, as you mentioned, the cornerstone of our midfield. So that's good. Obviously, credit to Ryan, credit to the coaching staff as well at Liverpool. So a question that I had presented to me in one of... Go ahead.
So just last point on Ryan, because I actually forgot, just as you were saying, I remember we also tried to get Tukamani the season that he went to Rome. So yes, that's another big change of money. Okay, we hadn't signed Ryan yet, but I guess like the theme of Liverpool needing a top number 6 and being committed to spend big money on that. If you think Tukamani, I think we were looking at around 60 mil. The fact that we've bid the Premier League record for Caicedo, like 110. So the fact that we've gone to spend big money on these players like every summer, and Ryan comes in under the radar and has basically been a cornerstone of a title win. Like salute, man. I think that's big, it's massive.
Yeah, definitely. So at this current stage, how different has this title running felt compared to 2019, 2020 to Brees?
I mean, it's easy, really, isn't it? Like, people will always say that like season there was an asterisk against our name because of the circumstances. And again, like we missed the crowd, like we missed the atmosphere. There was like no open top bus parade. It was as if it kind of never happened. Even though like they always trying to fill it into different kind of screenshots when you're looking at Liverpool's probably dominance for the last 10 years. But I think for the fans, this is like our like trophy. This is our Liverpool. This is going to be like an epic celebration, which now everyone can now celebrate. You can imagine people are going to be traveling across the world, man. Just to be there. And I mean, again, like the sea of red is just going to be. I mean, honestly, like forget about Moses partying, like like the Red Sea. Like this is like what this is going to be biblical. Trust me. So I think now for the fans, this is like everything, and I think for me that's the biggest difference.
Doctor, before you answer, I think what's going to be quite interesting is there's, to my knowledge, I don't think there's going to be any major footballing tournament happening over the summer. So I think what's going to be nice is there's going to be nothing to stop the celebrations or even cutting it short. Because, you know, if there was a Euros, if there's a World Cup, then I think people's minds can be then be focused on that. So the fact that there's nothing, I mean, they've got the World Club Cup, but I don't know how much fans from this country is going to be kind of watching that globally. But I agree with you. It's just going to roll on. So to you, over to you, Doctor. Same question. How different has this title running felt to 2019, 2020?
Do you know what? It's. I think it's because we've always been used to drama, right? So if that's in the title challenges against City, when we've just come up short, the year that we won the league, we had to deal with the idea that go on, President. What's happened?
He's got his warrior top on.
No.
Well, I've got my warrior top. I was in the background. I don't know whether Stoney can see me. I was like, Stoney. And then I've even gone onto YouTube, and I'm thinking I'm going to leave a message to tell them to let me in. Keep me out.
Sorry.
Sorry, Doc. Carry on.
It's fine. Yeah, yes. So I think even that season, there was talk of will the league get cancelled, and there were some fan groups and some clubs pushing for the league to get cancelled. So even though they confirmed that it would be fine, but no one knew how COVID was going to manifest. If the world was going to shut down even further, obviously the Dutch league got cancelled, which meant that Slot then was like he didn't get a chance to win the title in that season with who was he managing again? Was it 2020? FC20? Was he managing?
20, yeah. No, was it right? Or was it right now? No, he was at
Final.
Where did we get him from? Final, isn't it? We got him from
Final. Yeah, final.
No,
Yeah.
No, it was a club before that.
Before that,
Alkmaar.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, so Slot's joint top of the league. I think it's Alkmaar and Ajax are joint top with 8 games to go or something like that. And then they cancelled the league. Cancel it. So there's precedent around Europe of certain teams cancelling leagues and that. So I just feel like there's always been something up in the air, right? This year you're thinking, boy, is it gonna be Ukraine and Russia, or you know what I mean? But it just feels like this year it's just calm. Like we can just enjoy it. We don't have to worry about nothing. We can just enjoy it. And I feel, but I almost feel like maybe in having nothing to worry about, we're finding things to worry about.
Sure. I think Mark Foster's mentioned in the comments, the difference is Klopp said in 4 years he'd bring the Premier title to Anfield. Slot has not said anything along those words, and I suppose the title is on the cusp of returning to Liverpool. Pred, I've got a question to you. Thanks, as I said, once again for joining the show. This is like an emotional and a historical way of equalising United's 20 titles, right? How significant is it for Liverpool to equal Man United's 20 league titles?
The significance is high. Like to be over the years listening to them talk about their titles and overtaking us in X, Y, and Z, to then playing a season where, listen, I'm going to be the boring one and say we ain't won nothing yet. However, we're going to take one game. I'm still saying I'm still on the same line as the gaffer, taking one game at a time. However, in hindsight, to answer the question, it will be massive, I think, and it will just be a case of right. We need to kick if and when we do get the title. It's about now kicking on and not just not being satisfied with equaling it, but then surpassing it.
Well said.
Tabrice. So does this finally end the United are the biggest club debate, or does it reignite it?
I think it reignites it, which is kind of good for football, really. United are going through a transitional period. Well, I don't know. I don't know whatever it is. And again, Liverpool are now kind of on the kind of up. I don't think it ends it because, of course, like people will like look at revenue. People like will look at players. People will look at trophies. There's kind of literally so many different pieces to, like, you know, everyone's different puzzles. I think again, this is literally what we need in football. Like, we don't need like just one like team or just a couple of teams just to kind of swallow the whole Premier League or like English football. Like, we need these types of debates. So no, I think this definitely ignites it.
Doctor, I'm going to throw in a different question here, right?
Yeah, go on, man.
This is quite interesting here. Which era, and look, we've all got access to YouTube, right? So regardless of what years you were born, which era do you think has been more dominant then? Liverpool in the 70s, 80s, or United in the 90s and 2000s?
So I think you would have to say Liverpool, just on the basis that we dominated Europe as well. And Man U never dominated Europe. They were consistently good. But if you think Fergie was there for what, 25 years, they would have had what, 20 years of European football and 2 Champions Leagues. Look, this is still to be respected, but it doesn't indicate European dominance. Whereas I think Liverpool, you can certainly say we dominated Europe. Like, dominated Europe. Whereas United never did that. So for me, yeah.
Tabrice, you see, well, we're going to win. All right. So how will this win, this Premier League win, how will this how do you reckon this is going to impact Slot and our club's direction moving forward? Like, how much pressure or opportunity does this title win create for Slot?
I mean, I think it was Prez that said this before. I think I don't want to be like I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it's kind of, you know, I can't believe I'm even going to say this, but like, it feels like it's a poison chalice because like what else can Slot do now apart from go down? And I've like always said, you have to judge Slot when he gets his team. You got to judge him for, you know, next season. Like, this season has been amazing, but now the expectation from like Liverpool fans and from the media and you know, they are literally going to put Slot as the kind of manager of the Premier League. It's kind of, she's definitely going to put, I'd say, players on well, not alert, but, you know, I think players will actually now look at Liverpool as a very attractive club. Other like clubs are going to say, okay, well, if Liverpool want you, then prices are going to go up that extra 10, 20, 20%. And again, like, we have seen it, especially in that run where, you know, of course, we could have lost against Plymouth, and of course, like the PSG scenario where and you know, and the kind of Newcastle game where Slot looked, you know, like he looked a little bit haggard. You know, there was like a few substitutes where we were thinking, you know, like, you're not so cool and calm, you know, regarding, you know, come across, you know, with the media. So I think it's going to be very, very, very interesting because literally I don't think people are going to buy this softly spoken I'll just fade into the background slot type of way. And again, you know, we have to make sure that we've got our feet on the ground for like next season. And again, it's getting in like the right players. The media's going to be like on our side. The fans are going to be on Slot's side as well. But again, for me, next season is literally where he is really going to cut his teeth into this Liverpool team.
Thank you. So Vinny's put in the comments, and he kind of extends on what you were saying, Doctor, when I was asking about was a question that I asked you. Oh, it was to do with which era do you think was more dominant, Liverpool in the 70s and 80s, and United in the 19th and 2000s. What Vinny mentioned, and he put in the chat, Liverpool in the 80s, 4 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, 2 Champions League, 6 league titles in 10 years. Oof! All right, that within itself is beautiful. So yeah, thanks for that comment there as well, Vinny. Solo's jumped onto the channel as well. Good evening, sir. Solo, thanks for tuning in. I actually thought, Solo, you'd be more focused that Lyon are beating Man United 4-2, but I'm very happy that you tuned into Liverpool onto Cop Talk and you're not watching your lovely team there. So salute to you, sir.
He's converted.
I think so. Preds. So what does Slot need to do next season to maintain momentum?
I think going on the back of what Tabriz has said, he's got to get his players, the players that he wants to come in. And the players he gets in, they have to be at a level where they are able to hit the ground running. Because, we've got a target on our back regardless. We're one of the, if not the biggest club in the UK, and worldwide we've got a massive reputation in regards to being successful. So Slot will need to come again with. I've been very impressed with Slot this season. Very impressed. I know Tabriz is saying maybe there's little things where he might be losing his cool a little bit on the ground. But I mean, this is like huge, isn't it? It's like he's come to a new club. He's in this position, and like we're on the cusp of an amazing achievement in his first season without his players that he wants. So I think it's something to look forward to. But I kind of go from my first point. The players he gets in, they have to be first team ready and ready to hit the ground running and know the expectations that are expected of them. And next season, it's going to be even tougher than this season, because every other team goes out and does their business and goes to improve their squads, and we're no different. We just got to kind of Slot's come in. He's potentially on the cusp of winning a title. But like I said, it's not just for me. It's not about equaling Man United. It's about surpassing Man United, surpassing everybody. And what a great challenge that is for Slot as a Liverpool manager in this era, with the backing that he's got. I mean, it's something that I'm licking my lips, to be quite honest. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, in answer to your question, the players he gets in has to hit the ground running.
Thank you. And hand it over to you, Doctor. Same question as well. What does Slot need to do next season to maintain this current momentum?
So I think this season has been remarkable, absolutely remarkable. I won't speak on who is the greater managers in terms of Fergie, Wenger, and Klopp, but I think what you can evidence is out of the three of those, Klopp is the most charismatic. He's probably the biggest personality, the loudest personality. Don't get me wrong, Fergie was a titan of a man. Don't get me wrong, Wenger, studious. In terms of just presence, walk into a room or just be out in a public space, Klopp had a certain kind of gravitas to his aura that makes sense. I'm saying he's a manager, but just in terms of it as a character. So I just feel, based on how United and Arsenal struggled and the character that is Jurgen Klopp, I think for him to come in and do what he's done, I think it's nuts, isn't it? I think it's crazy. I think it's next level. And I think in terms of an actual coaching performance, this has been right up there. One of the best coaching performances we've seen. Every individual player has commented. He told me to, like Trent saying, stand 45 degrees, it'll be easier. Like the individual coaching that each player's got, the marked improvement of each player's got. arguably Mo's best season. Like so I think in terms of next season, I think it comes down to, in my opinion, is how good is this manager's tactical plan? Because with our recruitment, I think we're going to get the right players that he has identified. So if he wants a number 9 to, I don't know, do rainbow flicks, dribble, and do like whatever it is that he wants player profile wise, I think they're going to get him. It's just about how good then is that plan. Because I think that we're going to give him exactly what he wants. Ball playing centre back, midfielder to pass through the lines, wingers who are better 1v1. Like I just think we're going to get him the pieces he wants. So if his plan is as good as what I think it's going to be, then I think we're just going to be flexing next season. I think we're going to be absolute flexing.
Lovely. I appreciate that.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Fabrice.
Yeah. I want to add to what like Doctor said. I think there's like one like manager that I think surpasses Klopp regarding everything that you've said, which is Mourinho in his first season at Chelsea. I think literally Mourinho, with his personality, I think was bigger than his tactics and literally making players better. You know, if you kind of look at Lampard, Terry, of course, like he kind of wanted Drogba, and there's kind of like a story out when literally Mourinho said to Roman, like, I need Drogba, and Roman was like, who is he? And Roman was like, and then Jose was like, no, like, get him. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing, and again, if you kind of look at Jose's career, even, with United at the time, and again, like his aura, I think he's the only one that surpasses Klopp slightly in terms of the with everything that you've said. But yeah, I mean, literally, Klopp was, again, like, absolutely amazing, and exactly what you said before. Slot knows, I'm saying, like, he knows his football. He isn't just a person that's kind of looking at other coaches. I'm saying, like, he's not going to be fooled. Like, he knows what he's talking about. So yeah.
So you know the difference between. I'm not trying to compare. It's just noticing the differences in regards to Klopp. I think it from the outside in, I could be wrong. It kind of relied on Pep in regards to the tactical kind of awareness and prowess, whereas Slot seems like that kind of head coach that it's his ideas, it's his thing. He's got his team around him who know how to get teams to play his way. It's just very interesting in regards to the two different approaches of those two managers.
President, I think that's a great point, isn't it? Because in many ways, Slot's replaced both, but in different facets, right? Because actually, Pep Lijnders was doing a lot of the coaching and rumored a lot of the recruitment as well. It's rumor, but hey, because I've seen too many managers, too many assistants who are publishing books, right? Less as part of that one. So clearly there was some kind of ego taking place there somewhere. So yeah, in many ways, I think to make a great point, he's actually replaced Pep Lijnders in terms of what he's doing on the training pitch, because you get the idea that he's leading the tactical sessions and the coaching staff are very much fitting in around what he's. But yeah, no, I just think this guy's tactical mind's next level, and I say that from the viewpoint of it just feels like whatever someone does to him in game, he can analyze it and be like, they're doing this to us, I need to do this to counter that. And I haven't necessarily seen that level before. I feel the only times we've struggled is when the physical performance of the players has been lacking and they just can't do it physically. And you could argue that's something maybe that he needs to work on in terms of rotation, but I think his tactical mind is just different. I think he's just like a very, very special mind he's got.
Brilliant. Mark Foster's mentioned about Mark. Thanks very much. He's mentioned in the comments about Virgil van Dijk signing a contract extension. We're going to touch on that later on in the show as well. So make sure you remain tuned in. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And that's the Cop Talk. So that's KOP space TALK. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. To Cop Talk. What does Salah's extension mean for Liverpool's on-pitch performance in the next few seasons? So we know he's done the 2-season extension, yeah? But what does this mean for Liverpool's on-pitch performance in the next few seasons? What is Salah going to be able to offer us that he hasn't done already?
It's going to be interesting in type of the role he plays, dependent on the players that we purchase during the summer. Because obviously the players we purchase in the summer are in some way going to fit into, or potentially, the idea of fitting into the way Klopp wants to play. So in regards to his pace, that's kind of diminishing because of his age. But what you've seen lately, and probably why he hasn't scored, how many games has he not scored in? Yeah. But then there's subtle differences you start to see in regards to his now trying to be a little bit of a playmaker type in the final third in regards to his assists and his positioning, because it looks like the last few weeks it's less him going in behind, but more him coming in, getting the ball, and now he's trying to do crosses in sorry, what was he called it? In swinging, in swinging crosses, and his, the assist that he gave Diaz last week.
That was nice, isn't it? That was a bit of class. Jeez.
So so he's more of a distraction, like in regards to, he is dangerous, but in actual fact, where you're concentrating on Salah, now that kind of opens up the way for people like Jota, Diaz. All what needs to happen now is that Diaz and Jota need to, when opportunities come, need to start taking these chances on a regular occurrence, because like we're saying, if Salah doesn't score, then we have to go a very long way before we find another player who's actually scored many goals. Who's the second highest scorer in the season?
I think it might be Diaz,
Diaz. And he's not even in double. And he's not even double figures, I don't think. So, I think his role is going to differ. It'll be very interesting. But I think I've got my own opinion in regards to. I'll put it out now. I think he's going to do a year and then bugger off. But hey, that's just me.
So, Tabriz, based on what Pred was just saying, all right, in terms of Salah's impact, how does Salah signing the contract extension have an impact on the development of any of our younger attacking players? And we're only giving examples here, such as Diaz, such as Darwin Núñez, or even Ben Doik, if Ben Doik comes back from Middlesbrough next season.
Yeah, I think for me, like with Gakpo and Diaz, like both that guys are first team players. They just rotate. I think with like Ben, there's like rumors that is it Villa that are like looking at him about 30-40 mil. And how old is he now? Is he in his teens or is he 20? I'm not too sure.
Who's that? Ben Doik.
Yeah. How old is he now?
I think he might be about 19. I think now.
19.
Maybe.
So I mean, again, this is going to be a very poignant season for him, because I think with the contract extension, and Prezi, that's a fair point what you've made. Will like Salah just do a year and then go, or I think again, 2 years is nothing. Like, we have to be honest. Like, it's. I think it's just to make sure that there's a smoother transition with the players that are going to replace him. So, is it going to be Ben Doyak, or are we going to get like someone else? Because I'm I may be wrong, but I can't see him putting in these like type of numbers, especially in his final season. In his final year of his kind of contract. So literally, it's going to be a very and also as well, Mo also has to accept like there's like literally going to be a change of baton where what we started, and literally he'll be coming on and probably being an impact player. Is it something that he can mentally stomach? And again, does he want to just do for 1 year and let Liverpool get a little bit of money, and then he kind of goes off to Saudi and and then literally everyone's happy? We don't know, but I think it's more of a smooth transition for like the next player to come into his like spot. And again, I think this is for. I think now Ben has to really up his game if he's still going to be a Liverpool player next season.
Doctor, so do you think with Salah signing the extension, do you think this makes Liverpool more appealing in the transfer market?
Yes, absolutely. And I think it kind of signifies what the club want to do, right? Like in the short term. So I think, look, like we're all discussing, do we go for a more like a longer transition and try and rebuild the team? Do we go for like, say, a younger striker with big potential who's not quite there yet, and we're gonna I think there were a few questions to be answered, but I think if you're keeping Van Dijk and Salah, she basically saying we're looking to win major trophies, like we're looking to compete now in the short term as well. This isn't going to be some prolonged transition when like we're going to dip and then come back in say 2 to 3 years time. We're going to look to like push on. So I think any forward, all players are going to want to play with Van Dijk and Mo Salah. There's probably a question about what type of striker we sign, and I think that's going to be fascinating, right? Do we go for a facilitator 9, false 9, like a João Pedro or a Cunha, or do we go for more like of a goal scorer, like an out and out, so say like an Osimhen? Obviously, there was that rumor that we tried to get him in January. So I think the profile of 9 probably indicates what kind of role Mo may have slightly as well moving forward. But I do think from Mo's perspective, he obviously loves the club. He's very, very happy. He's got a sense of, he feels content. But I just think this guy wants to smash every record, isn't it? That he can. So I think he's going to stay for 2 years. And if we don't offer him a contract in 2 years' time, and he still feels like he can score goals in the Premier League, I think he's staying. I think he literally wants to extend his legacy in the Premier League as much as possible and get as close to Shearer as possible as well. So, yeah, I just think like Mo wants all of the smoke, which is brilliant. But then if we then go for a number 9 that wants to also be our main goal scorer, how does that kind of dynamic work if Mo wants to get the goals and number 9 wants to get the goals? So I think it'd be interesting to see how it works out.
Sorry, before you move on, Stoney, with that situation with Mo Salah, sorry, it's gone out my head. Carry on, Stoney.
We'll come back to that as well, though. Right?
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Something was on the tip of my tongue and then it's just gone. So carry on and it'll come back to me.
Goals, rolling the team.
No, that's it. Got it. Do you think, right, because in regards to Salah signing the 2-year contract extension, do you think that he may have got some assurances in regards to his role in the team before signing that 2-year extension? And do you think it had an impact?
I think possibly the only assurances that there would have been, I think, from Mo's side, is that I will do my 2 years and you can't sell me earlier, or you can't sell me like in a year's time. I think Mo's obviously wants to win with Liverpool, but I think he wants to cement his own legacy in the Premier League. And that's why Saudi Arabia for him is just not an option right now. Yes, the money's brilliant, but he wants to cement his footballing legacy. So I just think so I think the only thing that he would have said is, I'm doing my 2 years.
Yeah.
Interesting in that. So based on the contract extension here with Mo, we're going to come to Virgil afterwards, right? Does this deal reflect the FSG model are changing their approach then? In terms of giving these two players that are 30 plus these contract extensions, are FSG changing their approach?
You know what? I think people can probably question that, and like you have. However, I think they would be. I think hopefully, I don't know, but I think they would be somewhat a risk by not offering two players who undoubtedly have a major impact and influence on our team. And to let them go on a free, I don't think many supporters would actually forgive them for doing it. And I know they're it's a bit half and half in regards to there's some people who like FSG and some people who don't. But I think if they would have allowed Salah and Van Dijk to go for free, I think it would have been hard work for them to get back in favour of the supporters.
Yeah. So where does Salah now rank among Liverpool's all-time greats? Like, how would you compare him? How would you compare him historically to like Gerrard, Dalglish, or Fowler as an example?
I don't think you can do it until he's not playing, because he's doing what he wants, and I like what he's doing. Like Doctor said, I think his legacy. He wants a legacy. He wants to, he wants his name to be up there for many years to come.
Personally, I think he's ahead of Fowler. I think in terms of his kind of input consistently, and again, Salah had to change his game slightly. Yes, of course, like Fowler is an absolute icon. But I think with for me, like the longevity, and I also as well being a foreign player as well, and again how the kind of Liverpool fans have literally accepted him and his culture and his kind of tradition, and like also as well how like Salah has also ingrained himself within like the Liverpool faithful. Combine that with the length of, as in like like his whole career at Liverpool, I think he surpasses. No, wrong word. I think he's just ahead of Fowler.
Nice, Mark Foster. I can see Mark's placed the question in the comments, and I'm going to elaborate on it. Right. So, Mark Foster's placed the comment, and this is regarding Salah. I think he will retire at Liverpool. All right. So I've got a question to you, panel. If Salah retired at Liverpool, how would you want the club to honour him? So he's got the 2 years, but he's going to retire at Liverpool after those 2 years. How would you want the club to honour him?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't think so. He can't get a stand, in my opinion.
Okay.
He can't get a stand as great as he's been. I'm not necessarily even sure he even gets a statue either, to be fair. Simply because I just feel like the foundations of the club are set already, and he's just added to the legacy. And I think his honor, yeah, we could make him a lifelong ambassador. We could have him we could give him a role that he can come in and talk to the young players or like whatever it is. I'd want to do something like that maybe, but I just think, yeah, like his legacy literally is going to be on paper in terms of just what he's done. And the key thing is we facilitated that. And I think this is what he understands. Yes, he's given to us, but we've given to him. Like we've created a system through 2 managers where effectively it gets the best out of him. And if you think about it, his career has kind of stagnated. His rep had dropped off. Yes, he did well in Roma, but the Mo Salah that we see today is a direct response in terms of what the club has done for him. So yeah, I feel we've really honoured him by giving him a platform to be great.
I think we should give him a statue. I think with everything that I've said, and I would love the statue to be the one where he's kind of cross-legged and he's kind of literally in that yoga pose. Like again,
yeah,
I'm telling you, that's an iconic celebration, and again, everyone in the world can resonate with that position right now. You know what I mean? So, and again, if he does retire at Liverpool, then that means he's decided not to take the money at Saudi, and also probably go back to a place where his culture and tradition will probably be, even more embraced. So again, and also as well, we also have to remember that there's a generation of fans that have supported Liverpool because of Mo Salah and because of his journey. So we have to also take that into consideration. Yes, we can kind of remember the Ian Rushes and the kind of Kennys and whatnot. Cool, that's kind of our generation, if not older. But we also have to support I'd say the kind of next generation of fans and literally immortalize their heroes as well. So yeah, I think a statue has to be made if he retires at Liverpool.
And that's what
I don't know whether I got you're thinking about all the players that we've had. Ian Rush, Kenny Dalglish has got his own stand. You got John Barnes. They got we've had so many great players, and I'm thinking I don't know whether he not that he deserves a statue, maybe a mural. But I mean, there's one statue there, and it's Shankly. Shankly's there, and that is there another statue there of another player? I don't know, because like I said, yeah, I don't know. But you know what though, right? We've got another 2 years to think about what he may deserve when he does retire. And until then, I've got space to think about it.
That's perfect. Mark Foster was saying, if Salah brings us another 2 Champions Leagues and a Premier League, I would give him a statue. Debs, thanks for your comment. You were saying Salah won't retire at Liverpool, not with the Saudi League in existence.
Okay, so let's see. I don't want to compare Liverpool to other clubs, but Arsenal have got statues of Bergkamp and Henry, and literally, you know what I mean? And you know what? Again, Bergkamp and Henry are legends. Again, quality players, but Henry didn't retire at. Okay, well,
no, he didn't.
No, I didn't. I mean, I know that he had a second coming, cool, but he didn't retire there, and literally, they still love. Give him a statue, man. Give him a statue.
Good. I just thought I'd drop it. I just thought I'd drop the interview before moving on to the Virgil van Dijk contract. So, don't forget, everybody that's currently watching the show, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Doctor, what was your initial reaction when you heard Virgil van Dijk signed a contract extension?
So, you know what? I was out of the 3, I was confident that he would always sign. Because I just felt they would find the number that he would like. And So for me, I guess it's not that it's an anticlimax, but I always expected this to happen. And I'm glad, obviously, I'm over the moon that he has signed. And I just think, look, this guy has just been a transformative signing for us. It's almost hard to put into words just how great this signing's been. And I think sometimes when you're living through something, it's hard to find a sense of context and perspective. Now, where I would differentiate between Mo and Van Dijk in terms of how I see them as players is both great, of course, but I've seen great forwards in my time. Fowlers, Owens, Suarez. Sturridge wasn't quite, he's great for a season, but I've seen great forwards. And I haven't seen us win with these great forwards. But I just feel the moment this guy came into the club, we've gone from having a leaky defense, seeing Lovren doing all types of ham sandwich at West Ham and losing 4-1 and being a top 4 club. This guy comes in January and that May we're in the Champions League final. And since then, other than that one season post his knee up, it's just been generational brilliance that has made that we can compete for the top titles. So I just think Van Dijk, hats off. This time he gets to lift it as captain. Although he was the captain when Hendo lifted it was Van Dijk. And I've always said this. This guy was the backbone of the team. He's the one, as I've said, for anyone who watches Game of Thrones, he is our Jon Snow. He's the person that took us through the long night. So for me, when he gets to lift that title, it will be his legacy of what he's done since he comes to the club. So Van Dijk.
Nice.
Hey, that has got to be the best analogy this season on Cop Talk.
Jon Snow, come on, bro. Like
that has got to be the best. Stoney's come out of a few and they've been brilliant. Not to, you know what I mean? I'm going to give you your flowers, Stoney. I'm going to give you your flowers.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's so good,
but
man.
that's historic. That one's going to stick in there. That's going to be brilliant. He is the guy. Sorry, that actually threw me. What was the question again?
What was your initial reaction when you heard Virgil van Dijk had signed a contract extension? That was the initial question that I'd asked the panel.
I was in my office. I saw the breaking news, and I'm like, yes! And everyone in my office is turned around going, what's going on? And I'm like, DVD has signed. And that was the one out, like, listen, I want Trent to stay, I want Salah to stay, I want VVD. But to be quite honest, what Doctor has said kind of is my own feelings as well. He has been talisman. He has been the man that when he came in, all right, it just seemed like everything was all right now. That's how it felt. Like VVD came, yeah.
You just don't have to worry anymore, innit? You can just walk in and be relaxed, as opposed to Sacco in possession, he's going to lose the ball or something. It's almost like you could just put your feet up and watch the games. Yeah. And it's like whoever. It doesn't really matter who plays with VVD. It's just as long as VVD plays. And I was absolutely over the moon, mate. And he was the one. I think we had this discussion earlier in the season regarding which one would you want desperately, and VVD was the one who I would love desperately. Like as a defender, he would just get better in regards to his game management, his awareness, his experience. Like and he still seems like he can keep up with the best. But the thing is, you see it, any fast players out there, he cuts them off and locks them off anyway, just because of his positional sense and his awareness on the pitch. So, and I think he's still got another. He's still got another 2 years, and I'm just waiting for that moment when he says he's going to retire from international football, and then I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, we got him. We got him for life. Just to add to that just very quickly. I remember seeing this stat a few weeks back, and I thought, let me just save it just so I could at some point draw for it. So in 113 games at Anfield, he's lost just 3 times. 3 times in 113 games. It's just that it's just like unbelievable. 3 times in 113 games. Madness. Like, it's madness.
Mad. That like, just take a breath and take a moment and just let that marinate like your seasoned up jerk chicken. Yeah, let that marinate. How many games that we've played with him in the side, and we've lost 3 games. Like, that's influential at its best.
So, Breeze, how would you describe Van Dijk's impact on some of our younger players, like Jarell Quansah, as an example?
Well, I mean, it's huge. I think you can tell when like Quansah came like into like the team, it was like a mini, I'd say like a mini Van Dijk, very kind of comfortable on the ball and like like it kind of looked like he kind of had that quality. And regarding VVD signing, I think Mo Salah kind of gave it away in the post interview against West Ham, like, because they were talking and like he kind of just murmured that Van Dijk was going to sign, and again, like, just kind of how Van Dijk is so calm and collected, like there's like no issues. And I don't know if you guys watched the kind of Inside Anfield or Inside Liverpool on like YouTube, and everyone else is joking around, and when like VVD comes in, like, he's a very serious, composed, calm individual, and again, like, there's no messing about with him. He's just like, he just seems like he's just got such an amazing aura, and I'm gonna give like I'd say like a kind of example in terms of how I see Van Dijk, and hopefully he's gonna challenge Doctors. So I don't know what the statue is, but who's the man that's literally standing up and then the man's got the world in his foot. Like, who I'm talking about, right? Literally, Van Dijk is the man, and literally he's just holding everything up at Liverpool. Like Mo Salah, flipping Gravenberch, Klopp, Slot, like, he's literally holding up the whole team, but no one really talks about it because, like, he's just doing it on his own, and he's just got, again, like, he's just got his head down, focused, and he's like not even bothered about the media. He's just there just to do a job. Let everyone else talk about the world and talk about and he's just there, just solid, literally solid, and literally that's how I see Van Dijk.
You know what? I love him anyway, but he went to godlike status when Michael Owen said he's made his comment, and he corrected him straight away. And that, like you say, that seriousness and X, Y, and Z, you know what I mean? And when VVD made the first response to Michael Owen's comment, you saw straight away Michael Owen got shook. When you see that, when you see those videos when it's like, he knew he messed up. This is the moment he knew he messed up. He effed up. Know what I mean? And I'm like, VVD, absolutely brilliant, because you're backing your side. You know what I mean? And for Michael Owen, especially, and again, I think he probably hasn't done himself much justice with Liverpool supporters. But even if you're a TV pundit, mate, you don't come with that kind of, that kind of chat. And then, like I said, you know what I mean? So, VVD, man, he's like, he can do no wrong for me, man. Like, he's the man. And like I said, when he's playing, I feel all right.
Yeah, you're right.
So is this? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just blatantly rude, because I just feel like, Owen, you claim to be a Liverpool fan. You obviously played for the club for many years. We haven't just been winning leagues since the 80s, bruv, innit? So this whole idea that winning the league is, it's just the league. Nah, bruv. And to even put that into further context, now when you're competing in football, you're competing against countries. Newcastle are owned by a country. City are owned by a country. Chelsea by a Russian billionaire previously who catapulted them to a different stratosphere of players. The emergence of Man U. So what Liverpool Football Club are competing with now versus in the 80s is different level. Different level. So the fact that these guys are doing what they're doing now, like, salute. So yeah, for Owen's talking like he's run multiple leagues himself, innit? And this is just what our club does. Nah, bro. Like, that was the 80s. And last time I checked, that's 40 years ago, innit? So just manage and respect, Owen. Like, relax yourself. Relax.
So is this contract extension a sign of faith in Arne Slot's project?
Sorry, can you repeat that quickly?
Yeah, is this contract extension a sign of faith in Arne Slot's project?
Yes. Yes, if you get two of the most influential players in the squad jumping on the same bandwagon as Slot and is on the same page, then people will follow. You know, be like, you know what I mean? So yes, I think it's a huge testament to the way Slot wants to play football and his philosophy of playing football. So absolutely.
I was thinking about something as well. And this is a question I'm going to go to Breeze, Doctor, and Preds on this, all right? Who do you think is an ideal long-term partner for Virgil in defense? This could be anybody. Anybody.
Okay.
And this is going to Breeze first. This is also to anybody that's tuned into the show as well. Okay, so the question is, who do you think is the ideal long-term partner for Virgil van Dijk? This can be anybody defensive.
Yeah. So I've got two. It's that Bournemouth centre back. I can't remember his name.
Housen.
Yeah.
Housen.
Quality. I think he would just absorb everything that Van Dijk would actually say, and you can tell that you know he's a natural defender. And I think it could be a little bit controversial. I think Braithwaite as well. I think no one's been talking about him recently, and I think again he has the attributes again that will just complement Van Dijk. And again, I think those two players, young enough, Premier League experience, and I can imagine growing up watching Van Dijk as well, which is key. They would learn so much, and and again, I think that that could even propel Van Dijk to that next level in a kind of almost, I'm not gonna say like in a coaching capacity, but again, like it'd be amazing. I can absolutely amazing. So yeah, so literally, I'll say those two.
Okay, Doctor.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I'd say yeah, those two as well. I think Braithwaite I think he's outstanding. Like, I'm surprised he's not playing for England. I think he is very, very good. Physical, carries the ball well. His passing through the lines is good. Remember the goal that Everton scored against us from that little quick free kick he takes. Aerially dominant, quick. I think he's class. Housen as well. What a player. What I would say probably, I think it probably depends on what Slot wants from his centre back. Because obviously we've been used to a Klopp profile, right, where strong on duels, really tall, physical. Whereas Slot might want somebody who's a better passer as well. And both of those are very good passers, especially Howson. His passing is ridiculous off either foot. So I'd stay probably Howson if I had to choose one.
Preds?
I think he's got a really good partner at the moment in Ibu. I think Ibu is young, he's progressing, he's potential. You will see that he will probably get better and better playing alongside Virgil van Dijk. So I think his passing has got a little bit better. In the last few weeks, he hasn't looked as what's the word I'm looking for? Like his last 3 weeks, he's backed his ideas up in regards to being defensively solid, and he's backed his ideas up. However, the one defender I would love to see playing alongside VVD is William Saliba.
Oh. Okay.
That is one player I would love to see next to VVD, because I think, look, outside thing, I think me personally, he's, if not probably the second best defender in the Premiership. He's proven, I'm waxing lyrical about him, and I can't believe I'm doing it because Arsenal supporter. However, yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, right? Because then people might be thinking that I'm I'm a spy and all that. But yeah, William Saliba, I would go for.
All right. Well, next segment, we're going to move on to some quick fire questions on the West Ham game. But before we do that, Mark Foster's mentioned the guy from Dortmund. I forgot his name. Mark, is it Filippo Mane, the Italian centre-back that's playing for Borussia Dortmund? That's the only young defender that I think.
No, I think he's talking about Schlotterberg. I think
Schlotterberg from
Dortmund. Yeah,
from Dortmund. Mark said he's what? Oh, do you know what? I read that wrong. I thought Mark said the young guy, because I can say Schlotterberg's nearly the same age as Trent. I think it's about 25. So Mark, just put it down. Which is either Schlotterberg or Filippo that I mentioned just now. Quick fire questions on the West Ham game. One word to describe that performance.
Tense.
Does anybody remember the game?
Tense. Tense. Tense and flying kudos. That's 3 words. But yeah.
Okay.
Tense, flying kudos. There you go.
Nervous.
Did you manage to nervous?
Yeah.
What about you, Tabriz?
Floppy?
Fair enough. So did any of you guys expect us to bounce back after our recent results? And I'm thinking about the 2-1 loss to Newcastle. I'm thinking about the 2-1 loss against Fulham. Did you expect us to bounce back in this manner?
It's 3 points. We don't really care how we can get them right now. And it's kind of weird to say, going all the way back to one of your first questions, Stoney. I think it's funny because it feels like we're limping over the line. Like, we're not blowing teams away, and it kind of feels, we just now just want to get it done. But hey, 3 points are 3 points. That's it. West Ham were very unlucky. I thought West Ham probably deserved the point. If you can look at the chances and hitting the bar and whatnot, and but 3 points, 3 points. I don't care how we get them.
Yeah, I think it showed that the team has character in respect of we're not playing well, but we still got the result, and the result at this time of the season is all that matters. The 3 points, and I'm a believer still in regards to. I'm always thinking that we're always going to get that moment, we're always going to get that chance, and again, the big man. I mean, the big man. When we need our captain to come forth, he comes and does it again. And we've got history of our captains stepping up and coming and being our hero, being the one who's going to get us that goal or X, Y. And he's just joined a long list of captains who we've relied on to get us out of the proverbial. So again, I would agree with Tabrice. We got the win.
Perfect. And who would have been your man of the match, Preds?
Oh, I would have gone. I think Ali. Ali probably.
Yeah. And what about you? What about you, Doctor?
You know, it's always good to have Preds on there who's got the goalkeeping vibe, right? Because I was thinking, I can't even think of anyone who jumps out to me. And then he says Ali. Of course, it's Ali. Yeah, yeah, it is.
Would you agree as well, there, Preds? I mean, Tabrice, I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, Ali for me.
Yeah. Just on a side note as well, I said it was something that was mentioned in my other group again. They were just speaking about McAllister. How important is his presence in our midfield at the moment?
Yeah, I think he's the best midfielder that we've got. He's just class, isn't he? He's just class. I think he's one of these players, almost as brilliant as Grav was, especially at the start of the season and throughout like the winter. But I always felt that McAllister's performance had the biggest impact out of all of our midfielders. I just think when he's on it, like the team just flows. Obviously, in saying that, you could argue that against Fulham he was on it and we were terrible, so maybe that hasn't always worked out. But I just think, yeah, McAllister is just the guy, man. I think he's just a serious player, man.
I think Mac 10's performances over the season, and even probably last season, has probably gone a little bit under the radar. Like, you know, he's come up with some really good performances, but consistent performances. He's a strong lad from South America, and he's got kind of everything as a midfielder would require. Probably not as quick in regard to his speed, but his speed of thought and his tactical nous and knowledge on the pitch. He's almost someone like he should be, along with Ali, Virgil, Mac 10's, you know, the ones he's on that team sheet without doubt. So and it's really interesting to see his performances, because you've got Steven Gerrard, who was quite dominant, athletic, got, you know, passing, can score goals and very dominant. Whereas Mac 10, he just floats around, doesn't he? You know, he just ghosts around. He pops up in little pockets of space when we're defending, and by the time he's played that first pass, he's then off. He's starting to score goals as well. So yeah, I think his performances, people are now sitting up and going, "Oh, you know what, Mac 10, yeah, he's actually better than what people thought he was." So yeah.
Before we move on to our final segment about the Leicester game, we just had someone in the comments wanted to thank you, Doctor. Yeah, it was Nico Slotterbeck that the person in the comments was speaking about. Just on a side note, okay, I'm just going to throw something
knowledge.
No. This is something that I don't really know much about, so I'm just going to ask the panel here, okay? This soft information that's coming about Klopp going to Real Madrid, and do you think Trent knew anything about it? So what is this about Klopp going to Madrid in some form of capacity? And does anybody think Trent knew that something was going to materialize? What are your thoughts?
I think Klopp's got a project going on, but you know, when a team like Real Madrid come calling, it doesn't happen very often. So it's something that you probably need to think about. Did Trent know, or would he have an inkling? It's hard to say, really, because I think ultimately, if he's going to be signing there, he's signing there because of the prestige of playing for Real Madrid. Furthermore, he's got one of his football friends in Real Madrid. So I think that's quite quite big thing that made his decision. So, like I said, it's hard to say.
Have they mentioned what capacity he's meant to be going in Madrid? Is he going in as a coach or a manager?
I would only think that, yeah.
Yeah, Matthew. I don't know what. I saw the story, but I didn't even read it. I just thought I should waffle, but maybe it is true. It'd be an interesting match. Seeing Klopp trying to get them man there to start running, because you see them superstar coaches. Like when these guys decide that they don't want to run, they're not running in it. And can you see Klopp leaving Vinny on the bench for 10 games? No. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But one thing I would say, obviously Trent will go, and we know Trent is brilliant with the ball. Off the ball, he's good. He's not brilliant. So if Madrid are going to sign Trent, well, when they sign Trent, they better sign 1, 2, 3 water carriers, you know, because watching their games against Arsenal, it's like man don't want to run. It actually looked like that PSG team from about 2 seasons ago where Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe clean up the field, and you got 8 people defending. Because the lack of work rate and off the ball movement in that team was appalling. And now they made Arsenal feel like they're top of the world. But so Trent, good luck, bro. Good luck, because your right winger ain't gonna give you no help, boy. So good luck.
Final segment of the show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. This is a continuation of Cop Talk. We will continue to be here every Thursday at 10 p.m. Gentlemen, Liverpool versus Leicester on Sunday. How are we all feeling going into this game against Leicester? Confident, nervous, and why? How are you feeling going into this game?
I think I was just waiting for someone else, by the way. There was a long pause there. So I was waiting. So I was like, you know what? I'm going for it. I feel a little bit more confident than I was. Not that I wasn't confident a couple of weeks ago. We all know that we've gone on a bit of a turbulent kind of running in respect of some of the results that we've got. But I think that by scoring the late goal last week actually will give us a little bit more impetus and a little bit more drive and a little bit more hunger now to say, right, you know what, we're like, don't worry about the title. It's just right, we need to get the win. And I like I said, I feel a little bit more confident going into the Leicester game, not just because of where Leicester's positioning is. It's all about Liverpool for me, and the way they came through the game against West Ham and showed that character to, you know, concede a goal and then score the winner late on against a decent West Ham side. Yeah, I'm confident.
Quick fire ones, and I'm going to move around. To Brees, do you think Leicester's league position reflects their performances, or are they just?
Yes. I'm not even going to.
Why?
You know, respectfully, I'm not even going to let you finish. Yeah. Quick fire, innit? Yes.
David Woeful. Doctor. So Leicester under Van Nistelrooy, how do you think they're going to attack? How do they typically set up, and where do you think they're going to pose Liverpool? Where do you think they're going to pose a threat to us?
So I think they're just going to try and be hard to beat. Maybe that's a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. Try and counter with Vardy or who's the other striker that they got who we were linked with. I can't remember what his name is. He's fast, so it doesn't have much else.
Is it Daka?
Daka, that's the one. I think we need to just batter them, innit? You know, sometimes we can talk about like we need to up the tempo. We need to get the crowd involved. Mo needs to get. We just need to just deal with them, innit? It's old school. Just deal with them.
No, that's fair enough.
Actually, you know what? Shall I tell you where Leicester are going to be dangerous here? Is literally when Liverpool rock up and like their canteen staff try and food like poison. That is literally going to be dangerous. Apart from that, there's really.
Oh gosh, that's bad. A couple more quick fire ones. So who starts for Liverpool in this game?
I think it's the same team as West Ham. Same team.
Yeah, Curtis played well, I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't depend
I don't know. I'll probably make one change. I'll probably make a change in regards to putting Szoboszlai in. Not to say that Curtis Jones didn't play well. I just think that where Szoboszlai hasn't quite given us what we know he's got quality-wise, technically-wise, he does compensate that with his work rate, his energy. You know, his willingness to get around the pitch, and his legs. I think that helps us getting up the pitch as well and defending. So I'd probably like to see Szoboszlai in there coming in. But other than that,
do you think there's a case for starting Darwin Núñez over Jota?
No.
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 I had a long spiel, but I'm glad you just put me in my place straight away. Why not? Why not Trent? Why not Tabriz?
No, I think Jota has just got the kind of he's just got more positional sense, and I think with Leicester, like they just switch off. I think if you want to do like the hustle and bustle with the Leicester defense, then okay, cool. Like they will actually compete. And again, it's the seconds. It's it's like 50-50 balls, which again, Darwin loves to do all of the running, and like we kind of applaud him for like doing like the basic running stuff. I think I think Jota will just find those little pockets of space, and I just don't think that the Leicester defense can actually cope with that 90 plus minutes.
Quick fire question, Doctor. So Jamie Vardy's record against Liverpool in the past has been quite solid. How do you rate him historically as a Premier League striker?
Oh, that's a great question. Listen, I think Vardy has to be. I'm gonna say he's up there. What does that mean? Obviously, there's that top tier of English strikers. You've got Shearer in there, and then obviously like your Fowlers and Andy Coles, etc. But I think in terms of the next tier down, I just think Vardy has to be in that conversation. I think people instinctively see Harry Kane as being next level to Vardy, and obviously he's a better all-round player. But I just think Vardy's legacy is just exceptional, man. I think it's weird. It's almost just like I don't think he was truly appreciated for how good of a player he actually was, because it's not clear why. Like I almost felt that he was just a average player on good form, but then that good form lasted about 6 years. So like, yeah, I think he's just a very good footballer a very good striker, good footballer. But yeah, no, I think Vardy's, and I just think, like man's won a Premier League with Leicester where you were a key component. Like you're in football history, man.
I think just to add on to what Doctor said, in my eyes, because I think the word you use is legacy. And when I use that word legacy, I'm not just talking about what he's done for Leicester, because you got to think of his background in regards to how he got to the Premiership. And I remember being on the bench, watching him as he became the first £1 million non-league player.
Oh, wow.
And watching him, and he went from Halifax to, I think it was FC Halifax, to Fleetwood, and Fleetwood were in the National League now, and they spent £1 million. And I remember being on the bench and looking at him playing, and I'm thinking, the one time I think to myself, I'm actually pleased I'm not playing, because he was another level.